Hello, twisted humans.
Do you find yourself wanting to know more about the latest murder, conspiracy, cult, or haunting?
Then this is the podcast for you. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Sierra, and this is Twisted and Uncorked. All right, well, welcome to episode 82. This is my special topic birthday episode. This means that Alicia's birthday was yesterday. Yay! Yay, happy birthday.
Thanks, friend.
Do you have a fun fact for me?
I do. The first birthday cake with candles was had in the 18th century in Greece. Europeans were the first ones to use noisemakers on someone's birthday as they thought it would keep evil spirits away. So candles have been on cakes since the 18th century. No, those are just two little fun facts about birthdays.
Okay, yeah. Got it.
Yeah, I'm really bad at speaking English, but 18th century Greece, like, damn.
That was a long time.
It's an old-ass tradition, but I like it. What's
definitely.
your fun fact?
My fun fact is that you are more likely to die on your birthday than any other day of the year.
Awesome.
Yeah, so you would think, there's 365 days in a year. You would think this is 1 in 365% chance that you would die on your birthday. But according to a study done in 2012, more people actually die on their birthdays than any other day of the year. In many of the situations, stress and or alcohol consumption are thought to be the reasoning. But it's
like I'm getting old, I'm going to drink away my sorrows. Oops, there's a heart attack.
Maybe. The causes are usually suicide, falls, tragic accidents, and strokes or heart-related issues. All people, every age, are slightly more likely to die on their birthday than any other day, but particularly people over the age of 60 are much more likely to die on their birthday than any other day.
Bad luck to die on your birthday? Like, didn't I hear something about that?
Luck.
That's like
no, I think it means that I think if you die on your birthday, then you, God, I can't remember. Shit. Correct us if we're wrong. Okay, I know we're probably wrong. There is a specific religion that believes if you die the day you're born, then you've completed like you won't be waiting in it. Exactly. You won't be waiting in some sort of afterlife where you have unfinished business. Like, that was your finished business.
I like that better than...
Yeah. I can't remember what religion or thing it is.
Where that comes from.
I want to say it's Hindu, but I could be wrong. So I'm sorry if I'm wrong.
No. But yes, do let us know, guys.
Yeah.
Well, I still don't want to die on my birthday, even if it means that I'm completing something. It just feels weird, but...
It does. It feels really
you
morbid.
Celebrate it, and then it's like, oh, well, now your family's
Happy Death Day.
Yeah. I would hope that my loved ones would celebrate and party hard the way that they did on my birthday.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to talk about the sangria.
Yeah, speaking of partying hard.
This one.
You did pick this one.
So proud of myself. I guarantee it doesn't look as nice as yours still, though. No, definitely not. Mine's in a gigantic jar, like the trash panda that I am.
I have a refill.
Oh, there you go. That's cute. What is that?
This is my coffee, my cold brew espresso cup.
Ah, but it also works for a sangria jar.
Hell yeah. So this sangria is the white wine that we had last week. The one that was from...
Portugal,
that's right. And then we added some apples. I added... the recipe called for 2 different ways. So I did the way I added caramel vodka, because that's what I had on hand. And Alicia added Fireball whiskey, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And then
I had an awkward amount left in it, so I may or may not have just put the whole thing in there, and I'm afraid to drink it now.
Yeah.
Kevin's exact response was, I'm not holding your hair later. Thanks, babe.
And then we both added sparkling apple cider to top it off to make it a little bubbly. How is yours? Have you tasted it?
I'm scared. No. I did get Kevin to put the cinnamon sticks in the wine and stuff earlier for me so that it would be a little more infused because, as we know, sangrias taste the best the earlier you make them.
Yeah, I forgot to put the cinnamon sticks in until the very end. I even let mine sit over
they're just
in the fridge. But...
dissolved in there at this point, but they're in there. Yeah, not bad for a first fall sangria. If you guys have other sangria recipes or fall drinks, because we do lots of fun stuff on Patreon too, let us know. We want your
Do you
ideas.
like yours? How is it? Try it.
It's strong, but it's delicious. It's very fall-ish.
Nice. I wanted to...
I should not have put this much Fireball in it.
Mine, I have sort of an opposite-ish problem. Mine is very sweet.
Oh,
and I purposely looked at every single apple cider, the sparkling apple ciders. I looked at every single, there was like 4 different brands. I looked at every single one to see which one had the least amount of sugar. And surprisingly, the Welch's juice brand had the least amount of sugar.
Interesting.
But I guess because I added the caramel vodka, it is just so fucking sweet. It's, I don't know. It's kind of too much for me. The apples taste amazing. They taste like caramel apples.
Yes.
It's great.
I wish
I also
had
wanted to
caramel vodka. I know we used it for something in the past, and I only got a little bottle. Regret.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I just wanted to add from my witchy side that on the 22nd, obviously on my birthday, was the fall equinox Maven, and that can be celebrated from September 22nd until September 29th. So if you still want to celebrate with us, this is a very good drink to be drinking for the fall equinox, for celebrating that. And I also wanted to just point out, I have been putting cinnamon on freaking everything lately. Cinnamon is a good spice for financial and career success, abundance, love, and mental clarity. So,
love it.
Put in all that cinnamon. It's great. Oh, we also added the star anise. Is that how you say it? I think it is.
You're right.
And I don't have that in this book, so I can't tell you what that's good for, but I know that's great for potions and spells
It is.
too. I wanted to look at my other book that's in there because that has like everything in it. But I forgot to take a picture before I came in here, so I'm just looking at this little one, and it doesn't tell me that one.
Let me see here. It is...
Magical Properties?
Yeah. And it also has a starring role in visuals. No wonder, because it's called Star Anise. Jeez. But, yes, they are good for magical properties, manifestation, and goal. Oh, divination. Enhances spirit aids and spells, protection, purification. Lots of good stuff. All in all, a great one. And I saw that you did a little simmer pot with your kids. And if you guys don't follow Sierra on the socials, do that now because it's super cute. Is that Bubba or Sissy that's saying bless this family?
Sissy.
Ah.
Yeah. I also, so that was, I have a spell book. Sorry, guys. We're going on a little tangent real quick.
They're like, what else
It's
is
Maven
new?
season, okay.
It's our birthday month. We're going to do what we want, okay?
Yeah. I have a spell book that I use. I forget what it's called, but it's all like good spells, whatever. And I was trying to find a good spell in there to use for, we did a harvest moon celebration. And that was kind of the best one that I could find because all of them in there, I didn't realize, are Wiccan. And they're all like asking to call upon certain gods and goddesses. And I'm not Wiccan, so I don't do that. And so today, actually, I wrote my first spell myself. I've been studying that book to rewrite and rework certain things to like make it work for me. So I made a creativity spell this morning that I stirred into my coffee. And then I finished this story in like 10 minutes. Pretty good also, might I add. Like, I think this is going to be a good story, guys. You are in for a treat. And then I made myself a wreath, and then I cleaned my house, and I was like, man, this spell works.
Wasn't it like just a full moon, too? Like,
yeah, the harvest moon was when we did the that video.
Yeah.
That was the full
yeah.
name.
Okay. Okay.
Anyways, we are going to tell a nice story in just a minute, but first, we are going to hear a little promo from Live, Laugh, Larceny, formerly known as Seriously Sinister, our very good friends.
Yes.
Be right back.
Go check them out.
Okay. Are we ready for this episode?
I'm scared.
So, when this comes out, we are both technically already 29, if we made it past our birthdays.
Oh, God.
But for this birthday episode, while recording, in our last few days of being 28, I am going to tell you about a man who died when he was just 28 years old, on September 26th, 2012. Jonathan Kendrick Lewis was born on October 29th, 1983, in Los Angeles, California, to parents Michael and Devona Lewis, whose occupations have never been made public.
Oh, okay.
When asked about his religion and life growing up, Jonathan most often mentioned being Jewish. However, by the time he was an adult, both of his parents were well-known members of Scientology.
Oh, no.
And not just any members, top-level members.
Oh, okay.
In Scientology, there are 8 OT, or operating Thetan levels. The first and second levels don't have a name like the others, but they still cost money, and you have to be in one level to get to the next. According to Wikipedia, it would cost $2,750 to get into operating Thetan 1, then an additional $5,225 to get to OT2. OT3 is called the Wall of Fire. You have to be invited to it, and apparently people often suffer from pneumonia and lack of sleep while going through this figurative Wall of Fire.
Yikes.
To get to OT3, which really sucks because Scientologists didn't believe in medication, at least once upon a time. I think that's either become a taboo thing to say out loud, so they lie about it now and say that they do believe in medicine, or they just decided to change their old beliefs and now they do allow medicine again. I'm not sure.
We have Tom Cruise. Look the other way.
Right. All the new information said they do believe in medicine, but older stuff before 2015 said they didn't. So anyway, after OT3, which costs $8,910 to get into, by the way.
Fuck? Why would you pay that much money to torture yourself?
Yeah. After OT3 is OT4, which is called OT Drug Rundown. And from then on, Wikipedia doesn't even know how much these next ones cost.
Oh, good.
They have no idea.
Wait, it's like when something's not priced on the menu and you know you're
yeah.
pay out the ass.
There's a reason.
It's like, how much is that lobster tail? Ooh, yeah, that's not going to work for me.
It's the market price. We change it.
Whatever I feel that day.
OT5 is called New Era Dianetics, which is supposedly the second Wall of Fire. Whatever that means. OT6 is called Solo New Era Dianetics Auditing, which is just like the same thing as OT5, except with the word solo and auditing added.
Okay.
And also OT7 is called the same thing.
Okay. Confusing.
Yeah, it's really, the more you go up, the more confusing it gets.
They need a new marketing manager. This is not good.
Yeah. What I'm trying to get to is OT8, which is called Truth Revealed. And this is where you can finally see the truth, your inner truth, the truth of who you are, actually, not who you thought you were, you know, blah, 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 Scientology shit. It's the highest operating Thetan level. There is one level above this, but it's, based on what I read, I think it's more of like a god-like level, where after you die, they say like, oh, he didn't die, he just went to the next level. But really, OT8 is like the top for alive people.
And OT9 is you're dead. Okay.
Yeah. OT8 is where Michael and Devona Lewis were. How they got to this point without the internet knowing what they did for a living can only be explained to me by rich and powerful people of Scientology didn't want their jobs to be known by the internet, so they made it go away. I don't understand how they had this much money, and no one knows how, so.
Yeah, right? Their
Scientology.
occupations aren't listed, so...
Nope. Anyway, Johnny, as Jonathan was affectionately called, was the couple's middle child and their most famous child. His mother, Devona, started taking blonde-hair, blue-eyed Johnny to auditions in their Los Angeles home city when he was just 6 years old, and he was able to land many commercials and backup roles.
Of course. Blonde hair, blue eyes. Everyone's after that, including Hitler.
Yeah.
Always good.
Johnny did also eventually admit to practicing or taking part in Scientology, and he was in many of the Scientology ads and commercials and in videos for people, or that were played for people who, like, Scientologists were, like, trying to get to join, you know?
Yeah.
Like, marketing videos, I guess, whatever. But as he claims, he left home at 18 after finishing high school to start acting on his own, and then he left Scientology in his early 20s.
Okay. Wait, he was allowed to leave?
He says he left
Okay.
in his early 20s. Keep in mind, he dies at 28. So,
It's like, I've
Johnny
heard
Lewis,
you're not allowed to leave.
yeah. Johnny Lewis, his first roles were on Seventh Heaven,
Oh.
Malcolm in the Middle, Boston Public, Undressed, Much Ado About Whatever, Judging Amy, The Guardian, Yes Dear, and American Dreams.
So just, like, small roles. Yeah.
And then things picked up a little, and he got roles in movies like Raise Your Voice with Hilary Duff,
No, he
or
did not.
on Drake and Josh, Quintuplets, and The O.C., which was, like, my favorite show ever. Did you ever watch The
Yeah.
O.C.? Fucking love
Yes,
The O.C.
I did. I might have all of the seasons.
I do too, on DVD. And if you don't know him from any of those things, then you'll probably recognize him as a familiar face on Smallville, CSI, Bones, Cold Case, Criminal Minds, and most notably as Kip Halfsack Epps on Sons of Anarchy. When he was of legal drinking age, Johnny began living in Hollywood's frat row and dating Katy Perry,
Oh, okay.
who has always been pretty well known for being in the party scene.
Small flex.
Hang on. Sissy texted me and said, "Love you, good night." I had to respond. But according to All That's Interesting, partying was not at all Johnny's scene. He was more known by friends to be the smart, nerdy, straight-edge kid who preferred going to a poetry reading over a big party. This was later proved by his request to leave Sons of Anarchy. If you watched the show, you were probably disappointed that a well-liked, up-and-coming character was just taken away from the plotline.
Uh-huh. Don't
But
you love
he-
it when TV shows do that?
Right? But he literally asked to be written out. So if you haven't watched the show, I'm about to spoil it. It's really old. It's just a season. Halfsack was in the first 2 seasons, trying hard as a prospect to become a full member of the gang. Shortly after he was finally let into the gang, he was killed in a heroic act of saving the main character Jax's son's life. I used to watch the show, and I was super fucking upset and also in love with this character. I am
Yeah.
big on outsiders becoming worthy and also heroic deaths. Hence my obsession with Eddie Munson. Seriously.
It's a worthy obsession.
Yeah. But besides that, I was also pissed at the show. Like, why let him get all the way in, accepted to be a member of the gang, and then just kill him off?
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, it's because he asked to
for
be.
it, yeah.
Yeah. Johnny Lewis said that he didn't really agree with the violence portrayed on the show, and he knew from scripts that they only planned on making it worse. He asked to be written out of the show so that he didn't have to play a violent character living a violent lifestyle.
Well, that's kind of admirable that at least
I
he's, like,
know.
sticking to his morals and what he believes in and what he thinks is
Yes.
okay.
Even
and
more
not
of a
just
heroic
selling out.
character.
Yeah.
I love him.
Ah.
But in one episode of the show, Johnny actually met a girl who he dated for a while who had a minor part. Her name is Diane Grayetta. And I'm just being honest here. I have never heard of this woman. We're going to play the 6 Degrees of Separation game to get to who she is. She was most recently married to and then divorced Logan Marshall Green, who was also in the OC as Ryan Atwood's brother, Trey. And before marrying Diane, Logan Marshall Green, or Trey Atwood, was dating long-term Marissa Tomei, who is Aunt May on Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Okay.
So, full circle.
Love her. Love her.
Sort of. Yeah. We know who that is, so backtrack from there. Anyway, just trying to paint a picture. Johnny Lewis and Diane Grayetta only dated for a short while, but in that time, she had gotten pregnant by Johnny. And they had little baby Culla May on April 6, 2010. But after leaving the Sons of Anarchy cast, Johnny's life became increasingly harder. And this is where you insert an ad break. So, like I said, his life was becoming increasingly harder. Maybe it was coincidence. Maybe it was some sort of karma. Maybe it was a mental break. Or maybe someone was out to get him. Whatever it was, things got real shitty real fast.
Okay.
First, he was trying to write a novel instead of acting. He didn't want to be in the public eye so much. And it was not going well. Then, he and his girlfriend, the mother of his child, split up shortly after the child was born.
Okay.
He wanted to be a good father, so he sought partial custody of the child. But that's always a hard situation when you're a dude. Does mom want you to have custody?
Feels like an uphill battle for any guy, even like the best of dads.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks. It's like
It does. It does.
Sexist thing of our society.
Well, not only that, but it's like sometimes moms do know best. And as much as it might hurt your feelings, maybe she didn't want her kids so closely involved with Scientology. You know, his parents were still in it. Maybe she didn't want her daughter in the press. She was mostly just a backup actress, you know? Mm-hmm. We don't know. Whatever the reason was, it was a battle for sure, and Johnny was losing. He did not get custody of his child. And as if these things weren't enough to cause him mental strife, the next year, in October 2010, he was in a motorcycle accident.
Oh.
This seems most likely to be the turning point when you're looking at it from a physical, more obvious standpoint. But his family disagreed. They believed
like a head trauma type situation?
Yes.
Okay.
But they believed that even before the crash, he was already not acting like himself. But this is where my opinion needs to be heard a little, because I don't trust his family. Okay. They're fucking Scientologists.
Hot takes with Sierra is like my favorite part of the podcast.
Yeah, so I'm going to sprinkle in some opinion here. His mom started taking him to... this is what we do know. His mom started taking him to acting auditions at age 6. But he didn't actually start acting until he was done with school at 17 or 18. He said he wanted to finish school. His parents were very high up in Scientology. But he mostly told people, oh no, I'm Jewish. And then when finally people were like, your parents are Scientologists, he was like, no, I left that. That's not me. And then we see later, his parents don't seem to be fond of their grandchild.
Oh.
But he clearly stressed over wanting to be a father to that baby.
Yeah.
So the point is, I don't think his family knew the real him. I think they blindly believed that he was who they wanted him to be. I'm thinking that him not acting like himself to them was the quitting of his acting job. Even though all of his friends would say that it made more sense for him to want to be a writer because he liked poetry nights more than parties. And I think that his parents probably say that some girl manipulated him by making him take care of a baby, when probably actually that child was saving him from like dark thoughts of the life in a public eye. I know my kids have saved me from many dark thoughts, and I am not even close to a celebrity. So, but again, this is all speculation. This is just what went through my head as I was reading, you know, the writings of what his family had to say about him and what other people wrote about his family. It's kind of what I picked up on. maybe he did change. Maybe he was sick at 26 or 27 or 28. A mental health disorder started to kick in. Maybe that's why he wanted to change his life. Maybe when they said he changed, they meant that he would never ride recklessly on a motorcycle to warrant an accident in the first place. Or that the stress of not getting to be a dad to his daughter was causing him to live more recklessly, thinking he didn't have much to live for. No one really knows. All we know is that he got into a motorcycle accident, and it was bad enough to be admitted to the hospital, but not bad enough to give him a diagnosis of anything. The doctor said he didn't appear to have a concussion, and he was going to be fine. Although many do say that shortly after, he would randomly start talking in a British accent, and then randomly snap back into his own normal accent.
Weird.
So
I kind of do that too sometimes, but not like continuously.
Yeah. Well, I think he did it not on purpose. He would just be talking and then, he stopped saying something in a British accent.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay,
guys.
weird. Like you're not just like being goofy like
He's
when I'm
not
at work and I'm like,
acting.
stop it.
He's just
like, yeah.
Yeah, like, some people say if you hit your head a certain way, you can suddenly speak a different language. It was like that.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Head trauma is no
Yeah.
joke.
Yeah. So this is where I circle back to the Scientologists at one point didn't believe in medical treatment. Johnny refused to get MRIs done regarding the accident and the British accent. He never went to the doctor while speaking in a British accent. So, like, the doctors had no idea what they were dealing with. They couldn't see his brain because he wouldn't let them scan. So they didn't know if he had like a physical tumor or a brain bleed or whatever. And they also couldn't talk to him about mental health because he didn't want anything to do with that either. And so many people at the time, this is 2012, were questioning the parents about the medical stuff because of Scientology. Like, this is your fault. Why won't you let him get medical treatment? Your stupid religion. And the parents, at least his dad, was adamant that regardless of my beliefs, I want my son to get medical treatment. If it's going to help him, I want him to get it. He's just refusing and there's nothing I can do.
Okay.
And that annoys me because, like, you can't raise up a child all their life that medical treatment in certain facilities are bad and evil and off limits. And then when he's actually in a state of mental confusion and vulnerability and probably paranoia, be like, oh, but you have to get medical treatment now. Like, you told him his whole life he shouldn't. Or that's what some people are saying. I don't know anything about Scientology, so I don't want Scientologists to come at me, okay? I don't know what the fuck you believe.
Yeah, but that's like, at some point, like, wouldn't there be, like, I don't know, me and Kevin are, like, looking at life insurance and wills and things like that, and it's like, isn't there some sort of clause in life where if you're acting unlike yourself, like, somebody gets to interject and be, like,
you mean
your
like,
power of attorney?
Like Britney Spears' conservatorship? They only do that for women.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah. As soon as the words came out of my mouth, I knew that was going to be your response, but I was like, that's wrong. Like, at some point, if somebody is acting, like, in a way that's fucked up and not them, like, somebody needs to interject.
Yes, but someone did interject for Britney, and they took it way too fucking far. So it's hard to...
Separate issue.
It's hard to put... I don't know.
Law
it's hard to trust
into
people. It's hard to give you
life.
control over someone else's bodily autonomy. He wasn't hurting himself.
That's true, and it's obviously easier said than done, so...
Yeah. But yeah, in my opinion, he was probably like, again, if they raised him to not believe in medicine, and now they're telling him to believe in medicine, and he has this shit going on in his mind, he's probably like doubling down, like thinking that, oh my God, did somebody get to you guys? You guys told me forever not to do this. Why are you telling me to do this now? Like, probably frustrated. But that's just my interpretation again. So anyway, back to real life. Untreated and probably pretty sad about the way life is going, things continued to get worse for Johnny. He started smoking more weed to relax. He starts drinking more alcohol. But the problem with smoking weed and drinking alcohol when you're already down on your luck and in poor spirits is that they're both downers. So it kind of just makes you sadder. Don't 420 people come at me for that. It is true. It is the downer opposed to an upper. Okay. It's best to use. Yep. It's best to use when you're in a really good place, not a shitty one. People using it when they're in a shitty place is
asking for trouble.
What gives weed a bad rap in the first place. So it causes people to act out afterwards or to be even sadder. So don't come at me.
She's just saying facts.
Right. And then Johnny gets into some legal troubles. He starts going to bars and drinking too much and getting into fights and arguments with people. Just being a generally shitty person. Which is crazy because just a year or two ago, he literally quit Sons of Anarchy because of the violence. And here he is becoming a violent asshole. We don't know if this is physically brain-related, mentally brain-related, or just a guy fed up with his life to the point that he's testing his boundaries and doesn't care about the consequences. But you still can't be an asshole. So, in January of 2012, Johnny was arrested for getting into a fight with some guys and using a beer bottle as his weapon, striking it over their heads. He was charged with assault with a deadly weapon and pleaded no contest, which meant that he was which meant that he was not admitting guilt, but willing to pay the fines or do the time for this crime. In one source, I read that he was actually in these people's house that he broke into, and then they asked him to please leave, and that's why he hit them.
I mean, not a reason to hit somebody if you're in their house, but...
No. But also, this was just one source that said this. The same source also said that he went to jail for it, attempted suicide, was put on a 72-hour psychiatric hold, and then released. Again, only one source said that, though, so I'm not sure about that part.
Okay.
6 weeks later, Johnny was arrested again. This time, after being accused of trying to break into a woman's home. Again, he pleaded no contest in court. So, he's like, well, I'm not going to say I'm guilty, but sure. Tell me what I got to do.
Give me the cuffs. Yeah.
When it came time for sentencing, the courts planned to tell the judge that they were worried about his behavior. It was like he didn't even care that he was in trouble. His attorney suggested...
another thing.
Sure, I'll do it, whatever.
That's scary.
His attorney suggested rehab for weed abuse originally, which is like kind of not really a thing.
What was that episode? THC intoxication.
Yeah. But then changed it to rehab for alcohol abuse. And this way he wasn't going to have to stand trial and do jail time. He was just going to do his rehab and get better.
Okay.
He did go to rehab for a while. That one source I mentioned earlier stated that his rehab was like a retreat place, and it actually started giving him schizophrenia medication, and he started doing much better. But again, couldn't even find that he had schizophrenia, so I don't know if that's true. Either way, he was finally let from this rehab place. He was let out on like a daily do whatever you want, just be back before curfew privileges. And with those privileges, he allegedly just went up to the judge and was like, hey, I want to make a deal. He was tired of rehab, and he just wanted to do his jail time instead. He's like, please put me in jail. Let's make a deal. Judge was like, cool, just a couple days. You already did most of the rehab. Let's just give you like a week or so in jail. It's fine. But then they kept him in there for over a month and didn't let him out until September 21st.
Why?
I don't know. Things went weird, I guess.
If a judge is saying you're getting a week, I don't know. Mm-hmm. We don't understand the prison system. And we don't. True crime cases where that's questioned every day. So, I don't know why I asked the question.
Mess. I can't even imagine the feeling that he was feeling at this time. Like, he was already pissed at the world. He didn't have a job. He wasn't able to get custody of his child. He was going through something in his brain, like, we don't know what. Yeah. Something.
It's like he was forced.
Right. He was forced into rehab When he was just almost done with rehab and trying to get it over a little bit faster by doing a few days in jail, he gets stuck there for probably longer than he would have had to finish the rehab in the first place.
Yeah.
So surely he was not a happy camper.
No. And I get that. Sometimes for people that deal with substance abuse, even though that's not what we're saying in this case, rehab can be toxic for people that are not ready to be in that environment, because sometimes it's more triggering than helpful. So
Right. And when you're not ready, when you don't want to kind of
embrace
commit
whatever's
to
coming
this,
in there. Yeah.
right, it's like they're forcing your hand. They're making you do things. They're treating you like a child. Like, I'm my own fucking person, leave me alone. So Johnny's dad tries to help him out. He got up with one of his old friends, Catherine Davis, who had a place for Johnny to rent. The place was known by many in the area as the Writer's Villa, for the owner, who was a writer.
Okay.
Catherine Davis, or Kathy, was an 81-year-old woman who rented rooms out on her property for struggling artists, usually of the acting type, in Los Angeles, California. I'm going to sprinkle in a little speculation here again and say that I could not find any family that was related to her, so, none was ever mentioned, so I'm thinking it was probably like a good grandmotherly figure type thing. She wanted to have people to take care of.
Oh.
Kathy was a writer, originally from Texas, who loved having and hosting and going to parties, and she believed in and wanted to help young artists like herself. She was very caring and loving towards these people, again, in almost a cool grandma way. Her rental prices were always much lower than they could expect elsewhere, and she even catered food for them when they were staying with her. I imagine someone with
like
a kind heart like this. Oh, yeah. She probably knows that if, she treats these people with kindness and respect and understanding, she'd make a lifelong friend or family member of them, and one day, if she was ever in trouble, then they would be there for her. And many people admitted to loving her like their own family.
Oh, my heart.
Kathy had been called a Hollywood legend, a near saint, and I'd like to think she was probably one of the last angels living in the City of Angels.
Oh, that made me tear up.
Johnny had started staying with Kathy, which was someone he had lived with in the past. He knows her. He started staying with her after he got out of jail. But on September 26, 2012, something terrible happened at that home. Police were called by the neighbors. They stated that they heard a woman scream, and then a man came out of the house and attacked their painter, who was outside. The neighbors grabbed the painter and brought him in their home to keep him away from the attacker, Johnny. By the time police arrived to the scene, Kathy, her cat, and Johnny were dead.
Okay, why do you keep throwing in animal death without warning me? Jesus Christ.
No one knows what happened. There's really no way to know unless you are Kathy or Johnny, and they're both gone.
Or the cat.
The cat's name was Jessie, yeah.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. The final report stated that Johnny bludgeoned Kathy to death so severely that her skull was crushed and her brain was emerging from her body. Then the cat was beaten.
Oh, no.
Next, Johnny tried to attack the painter next door, and when he couldn't, he went back in Kathy's house to an upstairs room where he went out either a balcony or a window or on the roof and started scaling the building, where he ultimately fell. His cause of death was ruled an accidental fall. There were no drugs or alcohol found in his system.
What?
It feels really weird to try to defend a murderer. We all feel that way sometimes when we're like, they were a good person at one point. But whenever things like this happen in Hollywood, it seems so sketchy and like we don't have all the information. And that's kind of why I wanted to bring this story. Is there a possibility that Johnny didn't kill Kathy? Maybe he found her dead and he attacked the painter because he assumed the painter did it. That was the first man he saw after finding his dead, loving grandma figure. I don't know. No one knows. No one will ever know.
Yeah.
It's super sad. And the bit about his parents being Scientologists is also an added creep factor. Also, after Johnny died, the only thing he had left to his name after, paying for things that needed to be paid off and things like that was $41,000. And because he had a child, his baby mama was like, okay, where's my kid's money? And the parents sued her for Johnny's money.
Okay, so his parents suck.
Yeah, they do suck.
Like, not to say that she wasn't, like, after, but, like, at least it would have gone to his child, who he obviously loved, and...
It wasn't even that much. I mean, I'll take $40,000.
Yeah, right, any day.
In Scientology standards, for someone who paid at least 2 plus 5 plus 8 plus at least $16,000 to get to where they were in this grand scheme of Scientology, that's not a lot of money.
No.
His parents had plenty of fucking money.
No, and that's not cool. Like,
it's not.
No. That should have gone to his kid. That's fucked.
So, yeah, I don't know who it ended up going to. I know that they were in court about it for a while. His daughter is doing good. His daughter has a new sibling. I stalked them on Instagram.
Oh.
She's super cute.
I don't doubt it. He's adorable.
Yeah. That's the story of Johnny Lewis. Really sad. Happy birthday.
About that. Yeah, what the fuck? Hey, it's
I don't know.
I gave you the Scream murders. Not much better.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's
we both have Hollywood-related birthday murders.
Fucked up birthdays. Yeah. What? But yeah, that was a really good case. I knew about the homestay lady, but I didn't know that he died in the end either. As well. Like, that's...
Did you know he murdered her?
No.
Or was accused of it?
Accused of it. No, I had no idea. I knew that she died and that he was related to it in some way, but I had no idea that he also died.
Yeah.
Clearly, I pay attention to the world news, guys. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's so
really
sad.
He's so young and, like, obviously was going through something. Like...
Yeah.
That's really sad. Like, we've seen cases like that where people just are on a downward spiral and not acting like themselves, and then they end up dead or somebody around them. So it's like, just, yeah, scary. Well, rest in peace, Johnny Lewis, aka Kiwi.
Yep.
Wow.
Poor guy.
It's really sad. And to Jessie the cat. And the last angel in Los Angeles. Like, that's
the
really
last
sad.
angel in Los Angeles. I was, like, so surprised with all of the names that people gave her that was not one of them. I was like, right? I'm giving her this one then,
you're
okay?
like, taking writers.
Los Angeles is literally called the City of Angels. Why was she not called the Last Angel?
Because she's so wonderful. She
is wonderful.
Sarah's using her creative outlet here. Wow. Outlook. But great job.
Thank you.
This was our wrap up of our special topic, birthday month / birthday day / something to do with our birthdays, crimes. I hope you guys enjoyed them. If you have a suggestion for our next special topic, please let us know. It's lots of fun, and it gives us a chance to, showcase stories that we may not otherwise get the opportunity to cover. So, always important. And you know what that means, guys. Serial killer next. So, hold on to your butts and boobs and or chesticles of some sort. I was like, men don't have boobs. Sangria's really
They have boobs.
They have smaller boobs. All this caused me to do, guys, was go down a Hillary Duff rabbit hole, and I've decided that me and Sierra, when I come and see her in a month, that we need to do, or under a month now, when this episode comes out, a Hillary Duff movie marathon. Showcase our inner 90s kid.
Speaking of favorite TV shows and movies, let me tell you what happened on this day. On this day, September 27th, in 2021, last year, Netflix records that Shonda Rhimes' Bridgerton is the most watched TV series ever. Have you seen Bridgerton? Oh my god, it's so fucking good.
It's on my list.
It's so good. You have to watch it.
I'm going to.
Oh, it's amazing. There's only 2 seasons so far. Both of them, perfect. Completely perfect.
Perfect.
Seriously, I love it so much. It's, oh my god. Okay. Anyone who has seen Bridgerton, message me. Let's talk. It's so good. I love it.
I want to see it. I have 4 hours of me time a week, so
it's a little dramatic too.
And I know that as soon as I started, every
things happen.
Shonda Rhimes thing that I'm
you
just
might
gonna
be
go
able to
down
watch
a
it with
rabbit
Kevin.
hole. Really? I don't think he'll like
Maybe.
it. He didn't. Well, he liked Grey's Anatomy.
I mean,
up
it's a
until
love
season 11,
story,
and then he
for
refused
sure
to watch it with me.
It's a love story, but there's a lot of drama. A lot happens.
Right. But yeah, great job. Shonda Rhimes is awesome. So many takeaways from this episode. Take care of your mental health.
Yep.
Any fall sangria.
Don't be a
delicious.
Scientologist.
Don't be a Scientologist. Yeah.
Go celebrate Maven. Autumn Equinox.
Yes. Wish Sierra and I happy birthdays. Because, let's face it, you love us. And the best birthday gift that you can give us is leaving a 5-star rating and review and telling a friend or a family member about our show. Seriously, shameless plug, but it's true. We can't do the show without you guys listening, and you keep listening, and we're so thankful for that. So,
yep.
Humble brag. We've got exciting stuff coming up for you guys. Bonus episodes. Maybe some collabs. Maybe something else. Who knows? No spoilers, but we appreciate you, and thank you so much for listening. And go check us out on Patreon if you want some more Twisted content, starting at $1. That includes our live show on October 12th at 7 o'clock Central Time. Mark it in your calendars. The event will be in Patreon for anybody that is a patron. So even if it's for that month, we get it. If you just want to see our live show, that's fine. We're awesome. And we'll see you guys next week for a serial killer episode. Hold on to all the parts. And we love you lots. And in the meantime,
keep it twisted.
Thank you for listening to Twisted and Uncorked podcast. Remember to leave a 5-star rating and review wherever you are listening now. It really is the best way to spread the word. You can also check out all of our sources and materials, as well as photos for the episode, on our website at twistedanduncorked.com. And you can follow us on social media at Twisted and Uncorked or Twisted_pod on Twitter. Thank you so much for all of your love and support, and we will see you next Tuesday for a brand new episode. Cheers!